Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on this webinar. I am Ashwin Mudaga. I am the head of research at the HT Media Group. Um, Today's topic is extremely interesting for us. I think getting into the area of customer experiences and how do you build these journeys as we move forward into a digital era is going to become very important. And what would be those tools and technologies that we will be using as the future unfolds is something that we will be discussing today. I think we have some very interesting folks today. We have Mr. Arzan, who's joining in from WhatsApp. He'll sort of be taking us through what the power of WhatsApp is in order to achieve some of these scalable customer experience or customer journeys that we can do for large organizations. We also have Mr. Chaitanya Chokareddy, who's the co-founder at Ozonetel, and he'll sort of be bringing in customer excellence and experience standpoint. What could we do for very large enterprises? And last but not the least, we also have Mr. Haridas from the Muthoot Group joining us today, sort of bringing in customer experience of having already installed or implemented solutions like WhatsApp at scale in order to increase revenues and also improve on customer journeys. I think with the three folks that we have today, we'll have some interesting discussions, interesting insight into what the future unfolds for us. And as we move forward, we will also be giving you the opportunity to sort of ask questions, highlight any other suggestions that you have, any advice that you seek in terms of your own organizations going through this journey. So largely on customer experience, what we've been seeing is today 175 million people in India do a business message through WhatsApp, right? And how do we go about scaling these for your own organizations is something that we will deep dive into today. With that, let me first introduce Mr. Arzan from WhatsApp. Arzan, if you could take us through, and also the audience that we have across, how you go about building these solutions, how you go about implementing these solutions, that will be a great start.
Sure. Thank you, Ashwin. Right. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arzan Singh Purwala. I lead partnerships for WhatsApp at Meta. And over the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how WhatsApp has been instrumental in creating customer journeys with businesses, between businesses and consumers, and more so about customer care and how businesses are increasingly looking at WhatsApp as a primary channel to drive customer care and customer automation. Next slide. Now, the reason why businesses reach out to consumers, it's always been through traditional forms of communication like email or SMS. But the sweet sauce about business messaging is messaging actually creates a very personal and immediate connection, like a real relationship when a business addresses you, let's say, by your first name. Now, as per a survey that Meta did a couple of years ago across tens of thousands of consumers, 75% of them said that they want to message a business. They want to communicate with a business at a time and a pace which is convenient to them, and not at a time when the business chooses to reach out to them, like a telecaller calling you, or 10 businesses sending you emails every day. Also, consumers said that they are more likely to shop with a business that they can message on their own. Now, this is very powerful data, right? Very powerful stats. It actually shows the power of messaging and why it is genuinely becoming the primary source of communication today between businesses and consumers. Next slide, please. Also, 3/4 of the adults said that we want to be able to communicate to a business the way we communicate with friends and family. Now, we know that WhatsApp is, by far the biggest messaging app in terms of, at least in India, in terms of adoption by virtue of population. And everybody uses WhatsApp, right? It's our favorite app. It's the first app we check in the morning. It's the last one that we see before we go to bed. So just like you have a personal connection with your friends and groups and communities and family, people have said that we want to really be in a position to be able to message a business and take my business journey forward on this channel. Right? Next slide, please. Now, if you look at the way in which our country specifically has evolved over the last 2 decades, right from traditional forms of communication like email and phone, which were prevalent for a very long time. If you think about how technology evolved in the early 2000s, when businesses started opening commerce on the internet, people started going online, although hesitantly, but they did start doing some transactions online. At that point in time, about a few million people, say 5-10 million people, and not more than that, actually went online and did something or the other. They did purchase, they did a transaction. And then after, let's say, to 2010 to 2020, in that era is when, which was a mobile first era with the blooming of iOS and Android, every single business had an app which could be downloaded either through Play Store or through, whether depending on whether you have an Android or an Apple phone. And the expectation of the business was that because my user has a smartphone, they will now start downloading the app and engage with me with the app. Now, what has happened is, even now, even the largest of customers like a Flipkart or an Amazon, they don't have anything more than 100 or maybe 120 million consumers who do one transaction on a monthly basis, which means anyone who's at least done one purchase through an app or a website in the last 1 month, that number doesn't really exceed 150 million. Now, let's look at where that is in the larger scheme of things with respect to India and what the opportunity is now. Okay, next slide, please. Now, if you look at all the surfaces that Meta has to offer you, whether it's Instagram messaging, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp, there are over 3 billion people today who use this app every single month. And there's over 1 billion people who actually message a business on our apps every week. If I try and condense this data into what it means for India, next slide, please. Out of this 150 million people or 120 million people who are engaging with the largest of brands today on a monthly basis, I'm still scratching the surface because I'm part of a country that today has more than 600 million people who use WhatsApp every single day. On a total population of 1.3 billion, I have 700 million people who are actually internet users, of which more than 600 million people actually use WhatsApp. This data is a little old, so by now it's probably over 600 million. Now that means brands really want to know that how do I move from my 100 million people who are mostly in the big cities and metros to the next 400 million people who have the power to spend, they have smartphones, but they are using WhatsApp. They're even probably using it for UPI payments, but I'm not able to access them in terms of getting my business to be visible in front of them. Okay, next slide, please. So what has happened is WhatsApp has become the primary place where a consumer has their highest presence, which is why businesses want to target consumers on WhatsApp over traditional forms of communication like SMS or email. So our vision today is to be the way in which people and businesses communicate, regardless of what business you are and regardless of how you are physically. So if you look at this slide, these are some activities that you and I or any ordinary person in a day does, right from checking his phone balance to maybe ordering a meal or ordering a cab, paying an insurance premium, paying an electricity bill. These are fantastic use cases which are today live on WhatsApp. Imagine a world where instead of picking the phone to ask to call someone for a hotel booking or physically going to your bank to get something clarified, or let's say doing something on an app or doing something over a website, if you could do everything through a single pane of glass which is in your hands at a time and a place where you choose to engage with the business, that would be kind of the ideal world in where you could say that yes, WhatsApp is really transforming the lives of the common man. So this is what we aspire to do, and I'll tell you in a bit as to how we are doing it today in India. Next slide, please. Yeah, go ahead. Just finish the slide. Yeah. So if you look at the different ways in which there's one more click. If you look at the way in which WhatsApp is actually used by businesses, just one more click, Susha. Yeah. if you look at the way businesses consume WhatsApp, there's four very broad categories in which businesses are actually reaching out to consumers using WhatsApp as a medium. One is for them to get discovered. For businesses to get discovered, there are multiple ways, like say, Facebook ads. You'll see ads on an Instagram, Facebook, or a Messenger, where you have the option to click on the brand, and a window will open in your WhatsApp for you to start engaging with the business. Okay, then you have the ability for automation with respect to chatbots, where you have a journey for, let's say, if you're considering to buy something like a cosmetic or makeup. There are journeys where a business will start talking to you through automation, help you to evaluate colors, shades, take you through catalogs, and even assist you in your purchase decision. So help you basically in your consideration journey. Then there are use cases where you can actually make a payment. You can make a payment using any of your preferred payment methods, whether it's UPI or through a payment gateway, net banking, anything. And now, of course, going forward, even WhatsApp Pay, you could do that. And most importantly, customer care. Customer care is really becoming of extremely fundamental way in which businesses are automating their customer service journeys and also reducing cost in terms of helping to optimize cost on infrastructure for customer service and agents. So we'll briefly touch upon customer care, and I'll take you through a few examples and then show you what it looks like in couple of industries as we move ahead. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so for sales, or for the ability of a business to reach out, WhatsApp is a very powerful communication channel for brands to run campaigns, because they can capture the attention of the user there and now. Okay, if a user gets a message at the right time, it's relevant to them, he will engage with the business and he will start communicating. He will make it an interactive dialogue, and he will actually end up going 2 steps ahead in the sales journey. It's a great way for businesses to collect an opt-in from a consumer who wants to engage with them, and also be able to showcase products and services through rich media, because WhatsApp is a brand where you can leverage communication for the same price, whether it's audio, video, visuals, voice, in any form, right? Going forward, next slide, please. If I have to drive sales and commerce, okay, WhatsApp again gives an opportunity to drive incremental growth for businesses by enabling a consumer to actually make a purchase within WhatsApp itself. Right? So it helps you to facilitate decisions, customize orders, and give the ability to a consumer to make the payment there and then itself. Right? Okay, you don't really need to go to a website or an app or a payment gateway. You can do it natively within WhatsApp. Next slide, please. And finally, customer care. And why customer care is increasingly becoming important? Because businesses have realized that the maximum number of calls that come to their contact centers, a very large percentage of these could be automated. Now, if they're automated through a chatbot, which helps to address most of these queries, businesses can drastically reduce their cost of infrastructure. They can also have agents very smartly have multiple conversations whenever a conversation needs to get deflected to a live agent, and Chaitanya will talk you through more of this, and help to reduce more call volume. So not only does it help the business to reduce their cost, but also for a consumer to really get an amazing customer delight and experience. And I'll give an example shortly. Next slide, please. Now, one of the things that we are introducing, and you'll hear about it soon in the media and going forward, is business search, which means let's say I'm a brand, Samsung, and you as a consumer want to reach out to the brand, or and you don't know what is the number that I need to basically message. Or let's say if I'm Maruti Suzuki, you want to send a message to know where is the nearest service station, or when can I book my next service appointment on WhatsApp. You don't really need to remember the number. You just search for the brand. You just search for, like you see in the last screen, Coca-Cola or Maruti Suzuki or Samsung, and the verified business will appear in front of you. And you just type a hi. It will recognize you by a registered mobile number, and you can start conversing with the business depending on the kind of options it gives you to do what you want to do. Right? It's a fantastic way in which businesses really don't have to advertise too much about being on WhatsApp. They will be natively discovered by their consumers. Now, what that means is you have to build a customer service journey on WhatsApp, so that by the time this feature gets live in the next few months, your consumers have the ability to converse with you by just searching for your name on their WhatsApp phones. Right? Next slide, please. Yeah, now, okay, yeah, please go forward. Yeah, so this is just an example of an industry which is basically, say, travel or say airlines. If you want to do flight bookings, there are, some of the top airlines in the country are using WhatsApp to run multiple journeys on WhatsApp, whether it's pre-booking of flights, post-booking, customer support, engagement on loyalty programs, and brands are using it to upsell additional services like return tickets, hotels, cabs, etc., taking feedback. So it's a fantastic story for airlines because it addresses a very large volume of consumers. Next slide, please. Yeah. So here, can you just click on both these journeys, or the order food and the contact center service journey, please? So these are journeys which are actually live with a few clients, and yeah. So this is what IRCTC has enabled for any consumer who's traveling on their on their trains to actually be able to book food in advance, right? And once you do that, your food gets delivered in your train at your seat, depending on the route and the PNR number that you give, and you can choose what you really want to do. So this is something that we've done with one of our BSP partners, along with IRCTC, to enable consumers to order what they want upfront in advance. So this is just a very small example of how customer service can be done without really having to see or speak anything in advance. If you go to the next video, please, the Samsung. Can you go to the next video, please? Yeah. Now this is a video of Samsung support where, let's say you're a consumer in your house, and let's say an appliance goes faulty. What will you do? You won't even know where to look or whom to call, right? Assuming you have everything saved, you know what number to call, but by default, you'll just go online and you'll search for a toll-free number, and you'll call the number. You'll probably be, in the queue for 5 minutes or 10 minutes before you speak to an agent. And if your call drops, you may have to say the whole thing again. Instead of that, just imagine if you just type a hi, like you saw on this bot journey. You type a hi, the business recognizes you by your registered mobile number, and you can choose any of the options, choose the language in which you want to really converse, and a customer service agent exactly knows what to do or what is the next step in terms of servicing you. Imagine the amount of delight that a consumer will get if he's able to log a query within 10 or 20 seconds. And imagine the amount of cost saving just go back to the presentation, please. And imagine the cost saving for the business by virtue of not actually spending that much money for an agent to take the call, but having the journey automated. Today, a customer service agent, typically, the industry costs anything between 8 to 12 rupees per agent, and you can do this entire thing at a fraction of a rupee. Imagine how powerful it is. It's not just about saving costs, but also about how much of a delight can you give your consumers by automating your customer service experiences. Next slide, please. This is an example of a travel portal where, if you see the first, this is a mock-up. It's not a real life thing, but it's exactly how it would look should you try and message the number. So if you type a hi, the business will greet you. Hi, welcome to Go IPO. How can we help you? And then what you see is a list menu where you can choose whatever service you want to do, whether you want to, let's say, apply for a payment refund. Instead of holding the phone and talking and asking for someone, waiting for a long time, you can just log your complaint in terms of what you want to do. You could do that. You explain what your problem is. Okay. And it says, fine, we've logged your query, and our agent will get back to you. Thank you. Right. Next slide. Likewise, if you look at the hospitality sector, right from pre-booking to check-in, checkout, and loyalty, similar journeys are available, where many businesses have reached out to us in order to be able to automate some of these things for them. And it creates an amazing amount of experience for their end users as well. Right. Next slide. Yeah. Likewise, this is a booking journey. If you want to book a hotel, you always have the option. Yeah, next slide, please. You have the option to choose your date. You choose the property. You can even add to cart, send to cart, and then you pay. Yeah, next slide, please. You can pay using whichever is your preferred payment method, and you get an immediate invoice which is system generated from the business. Right. Next slide, please. Now, one quick minute I want to take on. So what Meta at Facebook we commissioned was known as a total economic impact survey, which basically went and polled a large audience across geographies and demographies in terms of what is the value or the return on investment they see on business messaging as a technology and WhatsApp as a platform. Yeah, just move next, please. Yeah, so before, so the interviewers were asked about their pain points as to, what are the biggest pain points they feel when they interact with the brand when it comes to customer service, and what would they like the end state to be. Next slide. And I'm not going to read everything, but like you can see, there's significant improvement in the agent productivity, where businesses saved a lot of cost with respect to optimizing the cost of their agents. That you can use the same money to build smarter, more qualified agents who can give better customer delight. Also, incremental profit from increased purchases. The frequency with which a user will come back to the business because he gets delighted is significantly high, right? That is on a very large volume business for a large brand is significant, returns on their investments in technology. And finally, incremental profits from increased average order value. So, a large percentage of respondents who surveyed said that they genuinely got, significantly higher average order values. People began to buy more because it was a very convenient channel by which they were addressed by the business. Right? Next slide, please. Okay, and of course, needless to say, customer experience is at the center of this. Okay, everything revolves around customer experience. If you're able to get a high customer experience, a high net promoter score, your business is certainly going to be doing well, right? So this is the fundamental reason why most businesses today are smartly using WhatsApp as the primary channel for them to build journeys around customer care and customer service. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that is what I had to share. I'll just give the control back to Chaitanya. Chaitanya, over to you, and you can take the audience through, how Ozonetel and WhatsApp are partnering to create differentiation for the customers.
Yeah, well, thank you, Arjun. Thank you so much for that. I think the medium and the customer base or the outcomes have been established. Chaitanya, who's the Chief Product Officer at Ozonetel and also the co-founder, will sort of now take us through how you could go about automating these solutions. How can you create personalization or hyper-personalization, create contextualization to customers so that the journey of the customer between both physical and manual intervention becomes seamless. All of this, how Ozonetel is making it possible in terms of delightful outcomes for customer experience, is something that Chaitanya will now take us through. Chaitanya, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Ashwin. And thanks, Arjun, for a wonderful presentation about what WhatsApp can do. And from your presentation, it's clear it can do a lot. I mean, a lot. Pretty much everything that can be done by businesses has now been ported. And it was really useful to learn that WhatsApp is now adding a discover phase also, because for a long time, that was the missing piece for businesses to actually launch on WhatsApp. I remember talking to businesses even like 5-6 years back and asking them to come on WhatsApp and try out WhatsApp business APIs. But all of them used to come with the question like, okay, how will the customer find me? And that would be like, you would have to go to Google and then they have to click on a phone number. That would never work. But I think with now the WhatsApp Discover, it's going to be a game changer for sure. That said, obviously, as Arjun mentioned, there are like 175 million people reaching out to businesses on a daily basis. That's a lot. And though most of them are now happening mostly on the voice calls, a lot has moved into social media and a lot has moved into web chat and email also. So that said, most of them, the biggest thing that businesses look for is a positive customer experience. As it's mentioned on the slide here, 94% obviously service experience will make them more likely to purchase again. That's actually surprising. I thought it would be 100%. I mean, who are the 6% people who wouldn't want a positive experience, right? But that said, right, I mean, for us at Ozonetel, we have been in the space of providing customer communications for the last 15 years now. And when we started back in 2007, voice was the primary medium of communication between a business and a customer. And that's what we built on. We built our services on voice. We have a cloud telephony platform. We have a cloud contact center platform. And then we serve a lot of contact centers in India as well as in the US. But once WhatsApp came into the picture, once we all started using WhatsApp, we've always been on the lookout on how to sort of enable this channel. For us, like if you look at it, it's just a channel. It's just another channel that we need to provide and allow businesses to talk to their customers. And we've always been on the lookout to enable this. And for a long time, WhatsApp wouldn't allow businesses to talk to customers on their channel. It was mostly peer-to-peer. So we were just waiting it out, though our platform was ready from the very beginning. And then once the API, business API came into being, and we immediately launched bots to start with, because we found that that was very easy to get started with. And the API is really well done by WhatsApp. And then we launched and we served a lot of customers. But then again, there was a big problem in the sense that getting on board was taking a lot of time for businesses. But I think last year or this year, everything changed, especially with the cloud API that came into picture. And immediately we at Ozonetel, we adapted it. And thanks to WhatsApp team and Meta team for allowing us the access to those APIs where we were able to build that. So what I'll do now is I'll try to walk you through what we have tried to explore and enable for businesses to sort of communicate with their customers. Can you please go to the next slide? It's Trisha, right? Yeah. Yeah. So what we did was, I mean, we already have a CCaaS platform, a cloud contact center as a service. Now, the thing is, when we talk about a contact center, the image that most people have is of agents sitting in a small cubicle, sitting side by side with their microphones on and chatting with customers nonstop. But that's changing in the new world. What's happening is many of the agents are actually becoming digital agents, not just voice agents. So in fact, most of them are on social media or on WhatsApp or on a lot of other digital channels that are available. So the thing is that, I mean, though a bot can be enabled on WhatsApp, what we wanted to do was actually provide the complete contact center experience using the WhatsApp channel. And what do I mean by that? I basically mean that providing a software which will allow contact center managers to manage their agents, to allow their customer communications to happen over their contact center, to monitor that, and for quality assurance, to basically say that, hey, look, this is how you need to improve and all that. So all of these features that we normally provide in a contact center solution, we want to provide on WhatsApp. So that was our main goal with which we started building this CCaaS platform for WhatsApp. So as I mentioned, for us, the infrastructure doesn't matter, whether it's a telephony line or whether it's WhatsApp. We would actually prefer WhatsApp because it never goes down. So moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah, for customer engagement mainly. So basically, how do we integrate WhatsApp with your current process? So you need to, what we generally reach out to customer is, I mean, when we talk to the businesses, is that we say that, hey, look, how are your customers communicating with you? What are the problems you're facing? Most of the time, the problems are that you don't have enough staffing. You have agents, but there are not enough agents to take the calls that are coming in. Calls are a problem because they are synchronous in nature. So we say that, hey, look, which of these communication can be moved to a digital channel like WhatsApp? So we work with them and we say that, hey, look, for engagement, this is coming from a perspective of support, let us say. So we say that, hey, look, which of these questions or queries can be done on a digital channel like WhatsApp? And it turns out that most of them, 90% of the kind of queries can actually be handled on digital channels. For very few scenarios, you still need the voice channel. And generally, mainly it turns out that when customers are really pissed off and they want to shout at somebody, they need the voice channel. But to actually answer the questions, WhatsApp solves the purpose most of the time. So, and then we also work with them and say that, hey, look, the most important thing is don't just deploy a bot. Because once again, bot frustration comes in. If a bot is not able to answer certain things, you should have a clear path of escalation to a human agent. So have that in place. And the contact center software should provide that. So that's something that we look out for. And we explain to them that, hey, look, these are the things that you need to look into. Please go to the next slide. So this is one big thing that, I mean, when we wanted to launch the WhatsApp, right, we talked to different customers, and generally the flow is like this. I mean, we take a new WhatsApp number and we enable a WhatsApp flow, a customer journey on that new number. But then we started thinking, why should that be done? I mean, especially given the fact that we serve majority of enterprises in India, and these enterprises have actually spent a lot of money to get a good phone number, a phone number that people remember. They advertise that phone number on their media and everything. Remember the just dial all 8 number, right? I mean, humongous amount of money would have been spent on that. So like this, every business has a 1-800 number or a regular phone number, and already customers have saved that phone number into their contacts and are talking to those businesses. So they know that. So we said that, hey, look, to really enable WhatsApp as an alternate channel for these customers to talk to businesses, we should enable it on the same phone number. So that's where, again, the cloud API worked wonders. We work with Ozone, we spoke with them, and we work with Meta, and we said that, hey, look, there's a path here. We can actually make it work so that the same business phone number can be used to make a call and can be used to receive WhatsApp chats also. So nowadays it's all like one nation, one thing, right? So it's one business, one number for us. So we have enabled this. So businesses can bring their existing phone number. They don't need to change their phone number. They can just enable the WhatsApp channel without disrupting their calls or anything, and start receiving WhatsApp chats and serve their business customers using the WhatsApp on their same number. Please move to the next slide. Yeah. So once we spoke with certain customers and we got this feedback, the next thing that came up was, can we automate certain pieces? Which is, again, as I mentioned in the previous slide also. The first thing is, I think the flow in digital channels should always start with a bot, even if it's just a hi. So just start with a bot, and then once you figure out, and I would say the best flow that has worked for us in most cases is that we say that just say hi with a bot and then directly transfer to an agent. Don't do anything to start with. Observe for a week this particular channel, and then extract certain information out. You can, by looking at the reports, by looking at the transcripts, you can actually figure out which parts of the queries can actually be automated. And for that, the bot platform should be ready, should help you figure out which of these options can be automated. So our platform actually does that. I mean, we can show you patterns, intents that generally pop up on a regular basis in your chats. And we can, and the supervisor can have a look at it and say, hey, 60% of the queries are for this particular intent. Can we just automate it? And what is the question that is being asked, and what is the answer being given by an agent? So then move that piece into the bot layer. That is the pipeline that we suggest to our customers. Start with human agents like you normally do. Get the call, get the chat, start chatting, extract information from the chats, and over a week, you have enough data, use the data to automate. So that's what we mean by flexible automation options. So obviously we integrate. The other thing is there are multiple pieces that come into picture here. The type of AI, the advancements in AI that is being coming up. Now, if you have a specific preference in AI, let's say you want to use Google for your AI rather than Amazon, we are absolutely fine with that. Though we do come up with our own AI engine too. Can you please move on to the next slide? Yeah. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the most important thing is hand over to agents. Always have a button kind of a thing or a escape route for a human customer to talk to a human agent. Because we have seen this happen a lot of times. Businesses seem to think that just deploy a bot and forget about it. That never works. So the moment you deploy a bot and forget about it, the customers will be stuck in something what we call as bot hell. You keep on asking the bot doesn't respond, doesn't understand. It keeps on answering in circles, and the customers will get pissed off. It's better not to deploy the bot than deploy a bot without an escape route. So make sure that you at least have one agent, at least in the worst case scenario, where it's stuck, or have some failure rates. If a bot is not able to figure out something, at least send a message saying that somebody will get in touch with you and disconnect the chat. So that's something that you need to be allowed. And platform should support that. Allow seamless handover to agents. Please move on to the next slide.
Chaitanya, just before you move on to the next slide, you spoke about that seamless handover. Just for all of our attendees today who are joining us, there is a QR code posted on your chat. You will get to experience what Chaitanya has just mentioned. Just click on the QR code. You can ask questions, but you'll also be able to experience actually what Chaitanya has been trying to tell.
Yeah,
please.
Thanks, Ashwin. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a QR code. You can, as we say, right? I mean, eat your own dog food. If you are deploying WhatsApp for your businesses, why don't you use WhatsApp for yourself? So we are doing that right now. If you have some queries, you can actually start asking, and we have agents sitting behind that particular QR code on WhatsApp, and they can respond to you on WhatsApp. So the next thing, when we talked about 5x, right? Where does this 5x come from? I mean, the slide, the topic of this whole talk or webinar is about 5x engagement. Why did we choose that, right? I mean, obviously 5x, the first reason we chose it is it's a BuzzFeed title. So it'll look up good in SEO. I'm just joking. The actual thing is the 5x comes from the fact that digital channels are asynchronous in nature. Calls are synchronous. There is no way when you are on a call, you can do other work. In fact, take another call. It's impossible, right? I mean, as humans, you just pick a call, something comes, you have to hold, put the current call on hold and then move to the next call. There is no way you can, though you have 2 ears, you can't listen to 2 calls and then answer them at the same time. But chats vary. We see that, I mean, though customers try to overload and say that one agent can handle 10 chats, we say that 5 is a good number for context for an agent currently with the tools that are available. Allow an agent to handle 5 chats. So that's where the 5x efficiency mainly comes from, because one agent can handle 5 conversations now. We believe that 10 also can be achieved with the help of AI, with the right kind of agent assist that will happen. We are still in early stages for that. But once we have enough conversations on file, then we can use the AI to actually guide the agent to sort of in the right direction. Think about how when you're typing your Gmail, right? Gmail actually auto suggests what to type. So in those similar scenarios, the same thing can be done for agents also. By the way, WhatsApp also does that now. When you're typing on WhatsApp, it actually says that auto suggest to fill your message. So similar kind of tools will be made available to agents in the coming future. So that's where we can enable high efficiency. Please move on to the next slide. Yeah, so the biggest thing, the advantage that comes up is digital channels come with APIs. And the advantage of APIs is that you can integrate all your existing data lakes, whether it is a CRM, whether it is your previous contact centers, whether it is the social graph of that particular customer. You can integrate all that. And when the bot, when a particular customer reaches out to you, you can actually use all that information to personalize. And I have to say that not a lot of customers are doing this right now. Right now, they are at a stage where they're just answering direct queries from customers and they're not personalizing. But I think that's an open spot here. So we can personalize to a lot of extent the kind of answers that can be given. This would apply mainly to bots rather than a pure contact center specific nature. But yeah, you should keep this in mind that when you are building a WhatsApp journey, what kind of personalization is there? See, there is nothing worse than looking at a message which is standard message. You know that looking at a message that this has been sent to a million other people, and you immediately mark it as spam. You wouldn't want that. The moment you personalize it, then it's a different story. Then people start to think that, hey, look, some effort has gone into this. Let me think about it. There is some reason these people have reached out to me. And then it works. So this especially works for marketing messages and sales messages more than support messages. From a support side, you can personalize at the minimum. You should know beforehand, your bot should know beforehand why they are reaching out. If they already have an existing order in place, is that order out for delivery? All that kind of information should be available to the bot so that it can update that particular customer the moment the customer says hi. So make sure that you personalize your customer campaigns. Please move on to the next slide. Yeah, this is something, again, this comes from the agent side, not from a management side. I mean, once you bring WhatsApp onto a contact center platform, the potential just goes beyond anything. I mean, because all of this digital data, the communications, the chats, all of the, about your businesses, you have so many insights. With calls, it's very, very low. The amount of insights that you can get into the conversations is actually very low, because especially you will have to apply some speech recognition tech and all that, which is not very developed yet. So you don't get a lot of insights from calls. Most of the time, what you do is you try to do some sampling and try to get some analysis. But with WhatsApp, the amount of insights that you get is humongous. You can get insights about sentiment, you can get insights about intent, you can get insights about which agent is the best, which agent is typing faster, which agent actually is responding better. All that kind of information actually built in. All these reports are already available in our platform for call centers. Sorry. So the same thing we have sort of explored and expanded to WhatsApp also. So you get we have more than 500, 600 reports on our contact center platform. Most of those reports get directly exported into WhatsApp communication channel also. So you can do live monitoring. You can actually look at the live chats that agents are chatting with their customers. And then you can guide them saying that, hey, look, you are chatting in the wrong way. Give the right information to the customer. Barge in. All advantages of a contact center that also come into the WhatsApp channel in our CCaaS. Please move on to the next slide. Yeah, this ultra-fast deployment. This is purely thanks to WhatsApp and their APIs. Now it's a very clean interface, especially if you are an existing customer with Ozonetel, then it's just a click of a button. We can just click it, enable it. You have to do an auth, obviously, from your Facebook account. And once you do an auth, you are set to go. We can move your phone number and enable WhatsApp immediately. So that's what we mean by ultra-fast deployment. I mean, it's like 15 minutes to 20 minutes. You are an existing customer. You are not an existing customer, then it'll take a little bit longer, but it will take a little bit longer, not because of anything else, but to get the invoices and everything ready. Those will take longer, not the actual technical details on enabling an account for you. This has been absolutely possible with the cloud API. Now I believe that the cloud API is available for general public. I mean, anybody should be able to access it, and you should be playing around with it. Even if you have a contact center or not have a contact center, you should absolutely be signing up for the cloud API, check out the WhatsApp APIs. And after you play around with it, that's where we come in. And we say that, hey, look, add all this contact center layer on top of your WhatsApp messaging. So we can deploy this as fast as possible, and obviously integrated with the bots and everything. That ultra-fast deployment is also possible now, thanks to cloud APIs. Please move to the next slide. Yeah, before I hand it over to, just to say, though I've told a lot about stuff, the best, evidence comes from actual customers. So how did an existing business make use of WhatsApp is something that Mr. Hari will talk about next. Hari, over to you, and Ashwin, please go ahead and introduce Hari, please.
Thank you so much, Chaitanya. I think you've basically alluded to three large pillars. I think analytics, automation, and intelligence that is humanized. I think you've put in or spoken about a structure that is simple to use, simple to implement, and not really complex. Let's, like you said, if all those things are true or not, let's hear from Mr. Hari. Hari has been one of those very fast adapters of WhatsApp as a business solution to scale up operations and revenue along with Ozonetel. I think, Hari, all over to you. Maybe if you could begin with a brief of your experience of having implemented the solution, some of the early outcomes that you're already witnessing out of this, and any other advice you would like to sort of portray to the remaining attendees on this call. That will be great, Hari.
Sure. Thanks, Ashwin. Thanks, Chaitanya, for the kind introduction. My name is Haridas. I had the gold ornament business within the Muthoot Group. See, when Muthoot wanted to scale up our ornament business, so one of the challenges we storing and displaying of our gold ornaments. We use the existing Muthoot Finance outlets to reach out to our vast customer base. So reaching out, distributing the printed catalogs and other promotional materials across our 5,000 branches scattered across mostly the vast length and breadth of the country, mostly in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, was a huge challenge for us. And in a business like consumer product business, like where the trends and the preferences change by the hour, so trying it out manually or in the physical world was almost impossible. So that's when Ozonetel, came up with the Meta WhatsApp solution. So we could deploy almost instantly our entire digital catalog on a WhatsApp chatbot. Across the country, the customers could browse through our digital catalogs, select a product of their choice, conduct live discussions with us, check out different products, and on various aspects like prices and designs and all that, even close the sales. So that we could do in such a, I don't think any other medium where we could execute such a go-to-market strategy in such a short time. And the unique selling proposition of our Muthoot Indivera range of gold ornaments is that, we deliver the ornaments to the customer almost immediately, while the payments can be made in convenient installments later on, which no other jeweler today in the market cannot offer, because at the jewelry you have to pay either cash down payment or dispose your old gold. While at Muthoot, you get the both. So that's where we have the advantage, and we have the customer base. We also offer customization option to the customer, wherein if they don't like for whatever reason, if they don't like our designs or collections, they can come up with their own designs, and in terms of sizes, selection, design, and pattern, and we offer to them at no extra cost in a short time. So at such advantages, it helped us cater to the vast latent demand of the Indian household, ordinary Indian households, to accumulate gold. So that was the founding philosophy of our management, because for the Muthoot, the raw material of our business, our business, I mean the Muthoot finance business, is gold. So our management wanted our customers to accumulate more gold, and which we wanted to do in a lightning fast manner without the physical presence of stores. A typical gold store today, even setting up a branded showroom, will cost nothing less than 25 to 30 crore. An additional inventory cost will be something similar to that or more. And without all this, by saving on all this, we focus on to understand the customer voice directly, almost instantly. And even many a times, it was to our surprise that even though we were expecting, more of lightweight ornaments in the beginning of the journey, we were quite surprised to find that, with this kind of live discussions, our piece rate, that the rate per piece have gone up to almost double of what the typical jeweler sells. So this is one reason, because I think it's a result of the channel, the medium's liveliness, because they could reach out to us. This is not done entirely digitally, because they also have access to our branches, and we have the omni-channel model in place. So when you provide all this comfort to the customers would love to, as Chaitanya was mentioning, I mean, they have it all. So I guess it's a fantastic medium for any kind of businesses to reach out to your customer base and increase your base. And we hope to do it and target our entire vast customer base of 50 million in the coming days, and become a significant player in this gold ornament business. Next slide. Final, yeah. See, this is a business, wherein typically a jeweler, many of the branded jewelers have collections of running into several thousands or even lakhs. So physically, storing that amount of designs or varieties, and even offering them, the catalogs, is physically impossible. But all this is possible through these lightning fast digital medium like WhatsApp. That's what we have discovered. Next. So in terms of not only the go-to-market strategy and the speed to the market, we've also discovered that in terms of the cost of operation and the ROI, the deployment of WhatsApp solution has greatly helped us, and this will remain the cornerstone of our business in our growth journey forward as well. Yeah. And the deployment it just took a few weeks. That's again because of the diversity of the number of catalogs we had to upload and get it customized and things like that. Otherwise, deployment of such a solution for any business or any product, it should happen in no time. So in a market like this, especially in consumer business and fashion, where the trends and the fashion is designs and other things are changing by the hour, so businesses should resort to such digital medium, and in terms of your go-to-market strategy, and it will help you in your ROI as well as your reach out to your customer base. That's our journey, pretty much covered. That's where we are headed. 5,000 is the number of outlets. I mean, that's essentially the Muthoot Finance outlets, the customer base that we intend to target. I mean, we've started a humble journey, but we are going far with this. Thanks, Ashok.
Hari, did you finish?
Yeah.
All right. Hari,
Yeah.
just a quick add-on question from my side and for the audiences as well. Now, you spoke about how you began for a want of scale and improvement of customer touch points, building your catalog here, etc. But then you also told us that suddenly you saw there is upselling of your own products, right? You saw the ticket.
Correct. Yeah.
Now this is, a delightful, unasked objective that is probably met for you. If you think of, the experience that you've already had, what other things you would expect in the next 5-year journey out of such a solution deployment? Are you thinking very long term? What do you think it could achieve for you as a company?
See, as a company, as you mentioned, this particular insight, even though it would appear simple for a business to actually a business which operates in a purely offline mode or physical mode, for such an insight to come up, it would take several months and crores of rupees business and cost deployed across the market, and especially when you operate pan India, such a huge market and distribution reach. So the cost of generating such an insight would be so high, and the time, you leaving aside the cost, the time would also be so low, and this we could gather it in a few months time. So when time is of essence, I think that's where such digital mediums will come into really play for the management. Because see, for any business, when you launch a new product, you may be in the related business, but as you enter a related or a connected business, it's actually a different segment where you have established competitors who are well entrenched there. You could have alternative products. The dynamics could be entirely different. But when you have such digital tools at your disposal, the insights you can gather, the information what you get, especially the customer, so any business, what was yesterday, see, especially the jewelry industry, the lockdown and the pandemic was the big paradigm change in terms of, it used to be totally a brick and mortar store where people can't touch and feel. So the entire rule was rewritten by the top brands of the country during the lockdown. They invested heavily in the digital footprint, and even post pandemic, by and large it is continuing. Even though they continue their expansion in the physical space, this is continued. So this is I think that's the greatest learning for us. It gives us enormous confidence to put our resources further into it, in terms of offering new kinds of products, and adding new vendors and new solutions to the customers, and understand the customer where he stands. And see, again, I guess another point which I cannot fail mentioning is the inclusive nature of it. See, jewelry, if you see the branded jewelry segment, especially in the high street stores or the metros, where it's quite an intimidating journey as you walk into it and you're greeted with, heavy kind of ornaments and things like that. Later on, the Tanish came up with different format stores. So all this is to cater to the different strata of society. But in a medium like this, as Arzan was mentioning, the WhatsApp is it's a phenomenal medium which cuts across the social strata and the economic level of the customer. So any customer at the convenience of his home, when he can engage with the brand, in his privacy without any inhibitions or any types of feelings, whether they are comfortable in a different high store setup, or I think they can browse through the products and they can buy it. So that's another confidence which we have given us, and our database, in fact, our customer base spreads across the entire, from lower to the middle and even upper income customer base. So that is talking about it's actually catering to them in such a tall order. You need to have in the physical world, you need to have different style of retail formats cater to all these people. But in a digital world like this, it's all inclusive. Everyone enjoys the same privilege, the same service as the person who buys much higher value of the product.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that insight, Mr. Haridas. I mean, it's been delightful for me in terms of how three companies have come together to create actual business transformation that is added value as a customer and for your own customers as well. I think this combination of analytics, automation, and intelligence with something like WhatsApp. I mean, WhatsApp is one of those solutions which actually didn't need a playbook. I mean, nobody in my organization has told me to use WhatsApp, right? We still go ahead and use it. That's the advantage here. I think overall, Ozonetel and WhatsApp together have continued to build that ecosystem that will provide this scale and hyper personalization to a lot more companies in the future. I think with that, thank you so much for all of our audiences. We've had over 110 folks joining us today. I urge you all, if you have not already done, please do open that QR code. There is a team of analysts that is ready to answer your questions. Please go ahead and do that. And thank you again so much, Mr. Haridas, Mr. Chaitanya, and Mr. Arzan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashwin.
Thanks, Ashwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.